It's Monday, we're in the shop. Boss is in Vegas, must be nice.
Now what about in the future? Can you make me stronger? Let's go. Look at this guy. Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. Pretty soon we're gonna have an octagon deck here, decked out. It's gonna be wild. Let's get it.
Then once I get this triangle cut and laid in, we'll move this cut up down there, give ourselves a big area to work with.
Build those other ones.
Yeah, and then we'll kind of see, you know, just in case we have to tweak anything.
Oh! Oh! Let's go, dude!
Go 38 and an 8 on this one.
Alright, so we just completed our first of 4 to complete our octagon. So we're giving a punch list. Bonesaw is going to cut that up for us. Me and Zach are going to continue framing this up, get some plywood on here, get ready for decking on the octagon.
And now we're filling in with triangles. You're basically just framing it like a gable almost, you know, like a, as you would like a roof. Another thing too is whenever you're framing and you want to line up your studs, never grab it like this and decide you're going to shoot your stud on. You have a 3-inch nail, 3-inch spike going through this. So if you grab your stud and you're trying to line it up, and you know you're go to shoot a nail and you miss, you're getting your finger. So I always grab it back like here, get a good grip on it, and then I'll shoot my stud. See? This is a little cheat code I like to use whenever I can, particularly when I get to frame like panels and I have the room to do it. Instead of having to measure and lay out and mark all my stud locations, I like to take like a sheet of plywood or whatever I can, or even concrete if it's okay, and like snap lines on it. So this is just pencil mark, but I have my layout. These are 15 on center just because of the width of them. You know, that gives it equal spacing. But this allows me to just kind of lay my frame in and then fill it in with studs, line up my studs to my marks right there, and then I know that they're in the right place, I know that they're evenly spaced, and I know that my lines are square.
Alright, so octagon's done. We got all our sides in, all our pieces are cut. Everything's got some plywood on it now, ready for decking. And this was probably the hardest. Zach, what do you think? This was the hardest part of the job so far?
So far, yeah, it's the trickiest.
But everything's fallen into place, everything's perfectly square. And now we're ready. We'll secure everything together and then move to decking. Just editing a video quick.
Thanks, dude.
No problem. Look at this. It is with the drone.
Alright, it's looking good.
Yeah, so we're building a deck back here, so I figured we'll get a nice entry shot. So this is my edit so far.
Looks incredible.
It looks really good. Oh.
All right, we're trying something new on this one. We have this octagonal deck here. We're gonna cut in the Eva-Last logo into Eva-Last. This is a Himalayan cedar. We're gonna use the carbonized Osage to do our cut in. So I've traced the template. I printed that out. It's not perfect scale, but I've traced it to the best of my ability. And then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna track all the straight cuts. We're gonna pull the boards up, jig everything else, and then we'll lay those over the Osage, and we will cut all those inserts. Let's see how it goes. So because this is a plywood deck, and we're gonna be resetting it up, we're gonna break it down and set up. I'm actually running the Trexo low so I can score the plywood, because that's gonna give me my layout when we wanna lay this back in. It'll give me a guideline where all the sections go. I figured out pretty quick that the best thing I could do was, just like if I'm cutting into another board, it leaves that little bit that I have to get out with the multi-tool. So I ended up doing that on all these outside edges, so I just kind of like have a hair in order to hold the boards together enough. Once I was out here, I started cutting them through, but it's pretty much, I traced it down with a blade, and then stenciled, kind of shaded the areas that are gonna get cut out, and then just go along making all my cuts, and then I'll go back in with the fine tool and clip everything out. This is the S. This needs to be done with a jigsaw, so I'm gonna cut these pieces out and take out what needs to be taken out of these. This one. We're gonna wanna you wanna cut this piece, you wanna lay it on the new piece, trace that, and then take the line.
So we got the Osage decking here. So this is going to be the color of the actual inlay that Kevin just cut out. Now we have to transfer those cuts onto our new color decking, and none of it's obviously square. Everything's got its own miter and whatnot, so it's going to take some time, but piece by piece we're going to get this inlay filled.
Sick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. So when you pull the letters, if you just want to do T1, so I'll know it's the top, or whatever, and then obviously don't put T1 on A, but you know, same idea.
I get you. Let's go. It's gonna be bad to the bone.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you missed us last week, we started getting the Octagon done. We'll be finishing that up this week. We're also starting section A, and we're doing a super cool herringbone pattern. So this is gonna run the length of the deck, and it's kind of look like a zipper. Whenever you're running herringbone, it's super tempting to find your center and run your corners, you know, right to your 45. To put your corners right on the center line. And it feels like that would be right. But it's not. It's not right. You want to find the center of your board. So like we said, we're 5 3/8. So divided by 2, that's 2 11/16. So at 2 11/16, we'll put a mark. Just show you. And there's all sorts of math you can do to get this number. But this is one of the simplest ways to figure out where you're gonna snap your lines. We know we're running at a 90-degree angle. You know, we're gonna run this all the way up. So we can take our speed square, put our point right on our 2 11/16. Scribe over. And that leaves us with 1 inch and 15/16. We'll do the other side. And we'll just double check that. And that's 1 inch and 15/16. So I know that from center, I need another line at 1 inch and 15/16 from the center. So now when I go, my center line is just where the center of this board is gonna go. And I'm gonna put the points, the corners of my board, right on these blue lines. And I just make sure that my wings, I guess, are ran beyond that line. So when I cut these out, you know, we'll be nice and clean. We'll have a nice clean seam where the picture frame's going. We're not gonna have any short boards or anything like that. It's kind of all about starting. If you start bad, you're gonna end bad, you know? And if you're not careful, you can start good and still end bad. What I noticed happening is the further I got down, the bigger my gaps were getting. And this one is perfectly square. This is perfect 45. But what's happening is while I'm going down, ever so slightly, I'm getting a little bit out, down around here. So what's happening is if it's a 30-second here, over 16 courses, that's a 1/2 inch. And that's pretty drastic. You know, 1/2 inch larger on a 3/16 space. As opposed to trying to tweak it or pull myself off center to try to fix it, I'm just gonna pull it back to where it starts to go out. I'm gonna use a kind of like a jumbo square. I know that this is a factory edge, so I know this is perfectly 90 degrees. And what I'll do is as I go, I have to come back to here. As I go, I'll use this, and I'll lay it in, and I'll put it up against the decking as I go. And if it's out, it will be super obvious, and I'll easily be able to fix it. You know, these little variations aren't necessarily obvious. You know, even for, you know, I do this type of work a lot, and you know, the little things that will catch up to you are the little things you don't notice. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna do it right, and we're gonna make it look great.
All right, Daddy's back. I know you guys saw this getting built this week, and Zach did a fantastic job on what was happening here. Although it wasn't, I probably wasn't clear enough with my instructions. I had envisioned a very small zipper going down the center of this deck. So this is really what I want to see. It's a very small zipper of herringbone. All right. I want the gray detail to be small in the center with a larger brown field on the outside of it. So the plan with this was not to cut this in here. We wanted to just get a layout done, get all of our boards cut so we're all stacked. We can shrink wrap and pallet all these. And then we're going to install it in Vegas, and we're going to then cut the perimeter in. There's so much detail with this. It's going to be much easier for us to lay this in the field, cut it in, put our picture frames on, tie the other booths into it. So little bit of trial and error on this one, but I think we have it now because I really do like this look. I want the gray to be an inlay and not the field. So what we have here now, I think is correct. And that's going to be that look right there. And just gives us the opportunity to show off two different colors of this board. And really have the dominant color be brown, which is what I was looking for, because we have kind of a lot of gray and brown going on, which we, as we usually do, because we're in New England. A lot of gray decking out there, especially with the composites. Very popular color. So, gonna be a little something like that now. A little more dominant. But
Now you guys are just cutting the pieces and you'll put it together in Vegas.
so we're just gonna stack cut everything, shrink wrap it, pallet it, and then we'll lay it all down in Vegas, track saw it, and put our picture frames on. So you're gonna have to stick around for our install video, which is coming up, man. You know, we're shipping this thing a week from tomorrow. So pressure's on.